climate change is in full effect, particularly at the poles. Do people feel empowered to do something about it?
Just like with any global issue or issue that we can't see right in front of us, it's easy to assume that it's not, it's not affecting us.
Of course we should care, because everything's connected. The atmosphere doesn't have borders.
I mean, it's not something that we can just overlook and think, it's none of our business, it's not going to happen, it's not going to affect me in any way, because it will sooner or later.
The poor parts of the world where they live, like in Bangladesh, where they live in very low-lying areas, and we talk about global warming, the melting of the ice caps, that'll cause the sea to rise. And people living in coastal towns, they don't have a lot of resources, they're not going to have a whole lot of options.
Anytime there's a doom and gloom scenario, even if it's a valid one, the public buries its head.
The way we're going right now, it's on TV, we just flip the channel and we forget about what's going on with the planet.
The general public, myself, I don't think we think it affects us personally. I think we see it out there and we see it as a problem, but until a water line starts, I don't know, knocking on your back door, it's going to be a really hard sell.
I don't know, it's scary, man. It's getting me all a little weird talking about it.
I think that most people don't understand or really understand what they can do specifically as a group or an individual about it.
I really come back to education is everything.
I think people would want to learn about climate change if they saw what was happening to things around them.
Have us actually involved instead of just having to sit there and listen to what he or she was saying.
You have to somehow show people it's beneficial to them to do something. Not just say, we're going to fine you or tax you if you don't do it, but this is beneficial to you because.
Because if people were well informed about what's going on, I think we could be able to do something about it.
I don't think the small things in life should be overlooked, like walking a lot versus driving your car to the grocery store.
The public has varying opinions about whether they feel empowered to help reduce climate change in polar regions and globally. Let's hear what some climate scientists have to say.
I don't think we're stuck along this path of catastrophic climate change.
One of the biggest uncertainties regarding future climate change is how rapidly carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is going to rise. Now that depends on us, whether or not we take steps to reduce our carbon emissions.
We're the ones causing climate change. There are ethical considerations there. It's not just a question of us being a passive rider on the earth, but we are causing change. It's going to take a real recognition of the problem, which we have not done yet, and it's going to take some hard work and probably some initial sacrifice, although I think in the end we'll come out of this with a better economy and a better way of living on the planet than we do now.
I guess I would say that knowledge is always good, so you can't, if you're going through a big change, you need to understand what's happening and why it's happening if you want to do anything about it. Still, whatever you could do as a society or as an individual to make that change happen more slowly so that people and agriculture and everything has a chance to adjust would be beneficial.
I think it is important to have a long-term vision, to see 2100 what our planet can hold. I look at China, I look at India, I look at all developing countries that want to catch up. And within a few years they will take over the CO2 contribution to the atmosphere. If we are able to actually support clean energy by the World Bank, by financing, to bring down their pollution, I think we are in much better shape.
And there are some very progressive groups that are trying to come up with a political program that is palatable to see increases in fuel efficiency and start to actually reduce the rate at which CO2 is increasing in the atmosphere and start to slow down the climate warming that we're starting to see.
I think we can deal with our sense of a lack of power over this very large global scale problem if we just educate ourselves. The more you learn about it, the more you recognize you do have an enormous amount of power over this. 30% of all energy in the U.S. is used in transportation and in home and residential by individuals. That's not even getting into the power you have at the ballot box. Go out and vote for people that you think are going to make a difference, that share your concern about the environment. That indirectly controls the other 70% of the energy that we use.
This is where all of us can make a difference. We do have a say as to what will happen in the future. But first, we have to recognize that climate change and global warming is a threat to nature as we know it and human health. Second, we have to realize that we can make a difference to this complicated problem. So there are a number of things that we can do to help slow down climate change. Like number one, talk to your local and regional politicians. Put the information and the issues on their radar screen. Number two, reuse and recycle whenever possible. Creating products from raw goods takes more energy. Three, change your normal light bulbs, your incandescent light bulbs, to compact fluorescent light bulbs. Compact fluorescent light bulbs use 1/4 of the energy and last longer. 4, turn off the lights. 5, convince your family and friends to drive less and to drive more fuel-efficient cars. 6, educate yourself on the issues. Scientists might know a lot about the issues, but they don't know it all. We need bright minds coming up with unique new ideas. 7, talk with friends and family about the topics. Enthusiasm and knowledge is infectious. 8, support groups that share common interests as yourself. We need people from all walks of life to take action in their own lives and in their communities. By doing so, that not only helps with the climate change problem, but you get to know your community better, you might save money, and you can increase your bond between yourself and nature. So we've gone over a lot of ideas as to what we can do to help with the climate change issue. I'm sure we could come up with more ideas. What little things can you do in your life to help out?